Well, everyone, I finally got my hands on the iPhone SE 2020, and as you guys expected, it's as beautiful as it is a priority in Apple's lineup. I don't even know what I'm going to do with this intro, but we're going to be comparing it to the iPhone 11 and seeing which one is a better value per dollar. Now, what I will tell you though is that if you don't want to buy one, I'm actually giving one away in 2 weeks, so not this Friday, but the Friday right after. So if you want to enter that, all you have to do is subscribe to the channel and follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and that's pretty much it. So like I said, I'll be picking the winner not this Friday, but the next Friday after. So now coming back to the comparison, the iPhone 11 came out a couple months ago, so it's kind of gotten to that point where it's starting to depreciate quite a bit. And believe it or not, I've actually seen a couple of iPhone 11s in the used market go for, less than 500, about that 490-ish range. And I'm talking like that's a kind of rare, but still, I've seen a couple of them in that area. Whereas on the iPhone SE 2020, brand new, it's costing $399, and that phone is going to be a crazy value too. And so far that I've been messing with it, I think it's been pretty good for the most part. Obviously, it's just like that older design. The iPhone 11 has a newer design, and that's really the main difference you're going to come down. The cameras obviously, are a little bit different too, but the design factor is the one thing that you're going to have to pick whether you're okay with that older design or whether you want to spend more money and get that newer design. Now, I will leave both these phones linked down below in the description from Amazon so you can pick them up from there and help support the channel at the same time. Now, looking on the front, the iPhone 11 has that 6.1-inch liquid retina IPS panel. It's 828 by 1792, and at the end of it, it's a pretty good panel. It's not really that bad. Yeah, it's not really like an OLED panel. The 11 Pros and 11 Pro Maxes have better panels, but this one isn't really that bad either, and I think a lot of people are going to be completely satisfied with this panel. You have True Tone on it, and definitely at the end of the day, this is definitely one of the better panels on iOS lineup, especially on the newer lineup for sure. Whereas on the iPhone SE 2020, we have a 4.7-inch Retina IPS panel. It's 750 by 1334. That one also has True Tone, so it's really not that bad. But again, will you be okay with this panel? Me personally, for that budget, I'm perfectly okay with it. I don't have a single problem with it. Obviously, I'm not using the iPhone SE 2. I have an iPhone 11 Pro that I use, but between these two, for about $300 cheaper, you can't really go wrong with that panel. However, like I stated, the iPhone 11 definitely does have the better panel and better design at the end of the day, but just because that's the case doesn't mean that the iPhone SE 2020 has a bad panel, you know what I mean? The iPhone SE 2's panel is perfectly fine for a lot of people too, and it also has Touch ID on it, which some people might prefer. And in this day and age where everyone's wearing face masks and stuff, the Touch ID sensor really isn't that bad of an input method for, unlocking your phone. Whereas on Face ID, I have to take my mask off and put it back on every time. So kind of one thing to consider. Not the end of the world, but it is one thing to say. Lightning ports on the bottom. On the back, again, a little bit of a difference. A dual camera setup on the iPhone 11 and a single camera setup on the iPhone SE 2. And I'll get into those in a second, but kind of familiarize yourself with the design. And really in both, the iPhone SE 2 is just like the iPhone 8. iPhone 11 is just like the iPhone 11. So in terms of the outside, that really pretty much covers it again. Now, the iPhone 11 probably is the better designed one out of both of them. The iPhone 11 also has IP68 dust and water resistance, where the iPhone SE 2 only has IP67 dust and water resistance, so that's kind of one thing to consider. Again, not the end of the world, but definitely the iPhone 11 has the higher up in terms of the design and I guess the dust and water resistance at the end of the day. Now, in terms of software, this is a humongous plus. Since they have the same exact chipsets, they're probably going to be getting the same exact software versions as well. And not even probably, they are going to be getting the same exact software versions, which is really cool. So right now they started off on iOS 13. They're going to be getting iOS 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I don't know when these phones are going to stop. They're going to go for a very long time. So if you get these phones now, they're going to last you for a very, very long period of time. And the best thing about it is that the iPhone SE 2 costs $300 less brand new than the iPhone 11, which is super insane. You're getting that same exact software version updates from a phone that is almost half the price as the other one. So for sure, at the end of the day, I definitely give my thumbs up to the iPhone SE 2 and the iPhone 11, but more so the iPhone SE 2 because it came in that cheaper package. So in terms of software, that pretty much covers it. Now I'll hit on the speed and I'll do a little bit of a speed test, but I will be doing a separate speed test video where I'll be covering everything. So make sure you guys keep it locked down on the channel so you don't miss that. But I'll tell you the specs real quick. The iPhone 11 has that Apple A13 Bionic chip, a hexa-core CPU, and 3 models with 4 gigs of RAM on all those models. Where the iPhone SE 2 also has that Apple A13 Bionic chip. It also has a hexa-core CPU, but this time all 3 models of the iPhone SE 2 only have 3 3 gigs of RAM. So not an end of the world problem, not anything, that you're gonna, kind of freak out about, but you do have 1 gigabyte of RAM less on the iPhone SE 2 than on the iPhone 11. So with that being said, I'll go ahead and do the speed test and we can go on from there. Alright everyone, let's do a quick little speed test between the iPhone 11 and the iPhone SE 2. Now if you guys can't tell, the iPhone SE 2 is on the right side, the iPhone 11 is on the left side. So let's go and start loading some of these apps up. Let's do the App Store. 3, 2, 1. Now technically, okay, the iPhone 11 was faster. Technically, from everything I've been reading, the iPhone 11 is the faster phone, but so far from my test, the iPhone SE 2 has been pretty much, able to keep up, but I haven't done this one yet, so we're going to go see it. Safari, let's go and load up some random website. You can do Bing, 3, 2, 1. And they both were about the same, not a big difference between those ones. So now that we have those preliminary apps, we can load up these third-party ones. Let's do Snapchat, let's do Twitter. 3, 2, 1. I think the SE 2 might have been faster. That kind of looked away for a second. Facebook, 3, 2, 1. And they both, one was faster, or maybe they were the same. I wasn't looking again, I'm sorry. Doodle Jump, 3, 2, 1. And they were in 2 different kind of stages in the game, so we did have a little bit of a different pop-up. Fruit Ninja, 3, 2, 1. And you can see iPhone SE 2 was definitely faster than the iPhone 11 there. That one was for sure without a doubt. Stack, 3, 2, 1. And actually, I don't know. I think this one was faster, the iPhone 11, because this ad still hasn't posted up, but that was really weird. Snake vs. Blocks, 3, 2, 1. And the iPhone SE 2 was actually faster there again. Let's get into some gameplay, see what the differences are. And they look about this is not a basic, it's a basic game anyway. It's the Temple Run 2. 3, 2, 1. Hopefully I restart back in the beginning. I think Temple Run 2 does a good job. Yep, so I'm back in the beginning. Now let's see which one is the faster one. And the iPhone SE 2 or iPhone SE 2020 actually got into it faster there, which I'm really, really happy about. So again, I think a lot of people might think that, oh, I want the newer phone to win, a more expensive one. I honestly don't have a preference really. If this one is faster and it's cheaper, I get to probably make more videos about that. So I'm cool either way. But gameplay is going to be about the same on both anyway. We can do the original Temple Run, 3, 2, 1. And again, stuck in the game here, so I'll have to restart it. Temple Run again, 3, 2, 1. And they both were almost exactly the same, alright? We do Instagram, 3, 2, 1. Now I was in the app here, and wow, look, my own pop-up came up, awesome. Let's end it off with Real Racing 3, 3, 2, 1. And you can see iPhone SE 2 was able to get into it faster, and then the iPhone 11 was just a little bit behind it. So again, another crazy one for sure. This is one for the books. I think the iPhone SE 2 might just be a little bit faster as of right now to loading up these apps. Again, I'll do a full speed test here in a little bit, probably within a week from now, and then that'll kind of break it down and give you guys a little bit more information based on that. So that pretty much covers up the speed test. Wow guys, that was the most impressive speed test I've ever seen in my life. Now hitting on the cameras, now just like the speed test, I'll be doing a whole separate dedicated video on both these cameras where I'll be taking photos and all that, but I'll briefly hit on the features on this one. They both have 12 megapixel sensors, however, the iPhone 11 has that dual camera setup. You have a 12 megapixel wide angle lens and a 12 megapixel ultra wide sensor, where the iPhone SE 2 only has a 12 megapixel lens. We can do 4K at 60 on both phones, which is really, really cool. But again, like I said, you do have that ultra wide sensor on the iPhone 11 where you don't have that on the iPhone SE 2. Is it a big deal? Not really, but that is something to consider. On the front, a 12 megapixel sensor on the iPhone 11 and a 7 megapixel sensor on the iPhone SE 2. A pretty big difference here. You're able to do 4K at 60 on that iPhone 11 on that front camera. We can only do 1080p on that iPhone SE 2. Again, are a lot of people going to care about this? Probably not, but if you want a better camera, you have that capability of going to the iPhone 11. But if you don't care, obviously the iPhone SE2 is the way to go. So that kind of covers it up in the camera department. Again, I'll be doing a full camera comparison between these two probably within a week from now. So once I drop that, I'll leave a link down below. Now ending it off with the battery, the iPhone 11 has a 3110 mAh battery. The iPhone SE2 has pretty much the same exact battery size as that iPhone 8, a 1821 mAh battery, and definitely for sure the iPhone 11 will have the better battery life. With that being said, the iPhone SE2's battery isn't going to be that bad, and I've actually heard some theories, and I haven't tested this out yet, but apparently the iPhone SE2 was underclocked quite a bit in order to maintain that battery life, so that could be the case, who knows, but definitely the battery life will be better on the iPhone 11 over the iPhone SE2. They both have wireless charging though, which is really good. Now to kind of sum up the comparison, should you pick up the iPhone 11, should you pick up the iPhone SE2? In my opinion, I definitely do think that you should probably, if you have all the money in the world, picking up the iPhone 11 is probably the better way to go. It is the better phone, that is no secret, However, if you're on a budget, the iPhone SE2 is a tremendous phone for the most part. If the iPhone 11 was a 10 out of 10, the iPhone SE2 is pretty much like an 8.5 out of 10. It can almost do everything that the iPhone 11 can do. In fact, it can do everything the iPhone 11 can do besides the gesture-based design and the cameras and the bigger screen. Other than that, they're pretty much the same exact phone for the most part. So that really pretty much covers it. If you guys want to pick either of these phones up, like I said, the links will be down below. Hit the like button though, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber that we get really does count, so it means so much if you guys could hit that. Also check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my second channel, all those links are linked down below. I'd really appreciate if you guys to check it out. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.